Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be very secure by Disney CEO Bob Chapek allowing Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to do as they please with these new Star Wars shows and movies and the overall structure of the new lore, be it books, novels, comics, or video games, whatever have you. A lot of things are really coming together, and a lot of projects are coming into fruition here for this new Star Wars universe that's really going to take shape and borrow many aspects from Star Wars Legends. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. We do post a couple of fun and entertaining things from time to time and interact with you guys further. So, now that we're just a couple of weeks out, actually, from the Book of Boba Fett's official debut on December 29th, it's going to be a very big event that's going to roll into the months of January into February, before we also get the Kenobi TV series in May of 2022. I've said this time and time again, 2022 is probably going to be the best year for Star Wars. We have tons of TV shows, new Star Wars lore coming out, new books and comics and whatnot that's going to add to the overall new Star Wars universe and more. Now, given that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing pretty much the impossible with Star Wars by really digging deep into Star Wars Legends and bringing that all back to life, I honestly am very proud that Chapek is allowing Jon and Dave to do a lot of this at hand. And honestly, when you go ahead and look at everything in the past, when Kathleen Kennedy had full creative control, you can already see the contrast now, the big difference between what Jon and Dave are doing and what Kathleen Kennedy did. It seems as if that, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy ignored the fans, and Jon and Dave are now 100% acknowledging the fans, and that's exactly what we want, right? After all, Disney does that with the Marvel fans. They might as well do it with the Star Wars fans, and that's what they're moving through with. So, with that being said, what's really intriguing, of course, is that given that now Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are taking care of Luke Skywalker in several new Star Wars TV shows for Disney Plus, in order to create this new image of the character for the fans. There are big goals that Jon and Dave are aiming for when it comes to the Force powers for Luke Skywalker to use in the new Star Wars shows. Now, one of which includes the reformed version of Rangers of the New Republic, which is set to get a brand new title for the series. Now, the show is set to eventually take place during the events of the Battle of Jakku, which is 1 year after the Battle of Endor. It's described that Jon and Dave want to take things to the next level for Luke Skywalker by changing, of course, and engaging in a scene in which he is set to save a handful of characters by taking down a large Star Destroyer over the world of Jakku, as well as a AT-AT. Now, this is described to be one of the major cameos of the Skywalkers, of course, in Rangers of the New Republic show that is actually said to be done with Lucasfilm's new technology that's going to be able to create these massive environments, virtually speaking. Now, the scene is already being planned with the show set to enter filming sometime during the fall of 2022, where Luke Skywalker is set to have a scene in which he is set to have both appearances, of course, mixed in with Leia and her team of Rangers that are about to be killed off by a blast from a large Star Destroyer, where Luke is set to jump in and use the Force to not only disable their power system, but to also crash the Destroyer down on an Imperial facility on Jakku that will bring the Empire to their final defeat by the hands of Luke Skywalker, with of course the Rangers moving in to take out, of course, any remaining stormtroopers at hand. Now, Rangers, in case you guys did not know, is described to be actually described to feature a CGI version of Leia, very similar to how she was created for Rogue One. Now, the same concept is actually heading our way for this new show that will take place days, months, to 1 full year after the Battle of Endor, and that Lucasfilm is even planning to drop some references to an unborn Ben Solo during the series as he was conceived just after the victory of Endor's battle. Now, the sequence in mind here on Jakku is described to be one of the most anticipated and action-packed scenes in Star Wars history that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are taking inspiration from the Battle of Scarif from Rogue One, which was well received by the fandom. Now, Lucasfilm intends to use a CGI version of Luke so far, still for the show inside, of course, the full recast of what they are saving to recast for Luke Skywalker, specifically for the Young Luke Skywalker series and even The Mandalorian Season 4. Now, the scene is set to also showcase new types of Imperial walkers, as well as new Stormtrooper types. There are also plans to actually bring back a CGI version of a young Han Solo, and there have been negotiations on spending tons of money to bring back Harrison Ford and de-aging him drastically. However, Disney is still on the fence over that, as it will cost them a lot of money and considering doing just a CG version of Han Solo to step in. Now, let me just say one thing here about the Han Solo cameo in Rangers. I think that what they should do is, yes, they should put their foot down and just bite the bullet and just have Harrison Ford come back, de-age him, and call it a day. That's what they should do. I don't care how much money it costs them. I think it's going to allow the fans to give better feedback in a more positive sense, and it also lowers the risk of just doing a flat-out CG version of Han Solo. Again, I like what they did with The Mandalorian. It was great and all, but you had some fans pointing things out of Luke Skywalker being CG. Now, of course, they're going to be doing a lot of realistic techniques to make Han Solo appear just as he did in the original trilogy movies, but by bringing back Harrison Ford, and they are negotiating this, by bringing back Harrison Ford and just spending that amount of money to just de-age him for a good, amount of time during the end of Rangers, I think is a good call. That's what they should move through with. That's just my opinion, instead of doing the regular CG version. But hey, I think that either scenario will be acceptable. It's just that the prime choice would definitely be the de-aging tech. Now, back to Luke Skywalker taking down the Star Destroyer and, of course, one of the AT-ATs. This, in case you guys did not know, is inspired from Dark Empire and, of course, from the Force Unleashed video game. So, in the Force Unleashed, we had Starkiller taking down the Destroyer, and in Star Wars Dark Empire's comic line, I don't know if you guys read that or listened to the audiobook/radio drama, in the Dark Empire comic line, before he meets Palpatine, he takes down an AT-AT walker with ease. And this actually shocked Lando, Han Solo, and Leia, even Chewbacca at the time. They were very, very much in shock of what Luke Skywalker had done. That's exactly what John and Dave are doing. They are digging deep into Legends. They know their stuff. And if you know Legends a lot like John and Dave do, you're going to realize all of these different types of cherry-picking concepts that they're going to be throwing into these new shows. So, like I said, guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.